Are you feeling lost and overwhelmed in this giant world of coding? Do you struggle to keep up with all the latest tech news, fearing that you're going to be replaced by AI soon? Let me show you how you can be a visionary, ambitious, irreplaceable developer, a top 1% developer, by following a project-based learning strategy. When I was 21 years old, I had my first development job ever. You see, at that point in time, I was just a mere marketer. I did not know much about complex software systems. And although I studied computer science and I had a decent background in programming, just basic programming, I couldn't do much. I oftentimes found myself stuck. You see, I wanted to be a good developer for them, but I couldn't. And deep down, I knew I had potential. I just knew basic scripting, I knew how to set up a class, I knew how to write recursive functions, and I knew a lot of the theoretical stuff. But that wasn't enough. You see, these employees, they look for systems thinkers. They look for people that can create systems, create and maintain these complex systems. Now, for us, they might not be complex, but for them, for the non-technical person, they are. Eventually, they caught on. The other developer I was working with snitched on me. He advised my employee to fire me and replace me with his wife. I mean, this is some movie shit. But regardless, I got fired from that job. At that point in time, I realized I needed to become a software developer, not a programmer. You see, there's a very distinct difference. One just writes functions and is able to write basic code, and the other is able to maintain systems, craft systems, complex systems that integrate with each other. So I made a plan for myself. I told myself that I was going to build my own project, and from that experience I was going to go apply to other positions. But I ran into a roadblock. I did not know what to make. So I thought to myself, what tool can I make for myself that involves using these complex systems such as a front end and a back end and a database, you name it. And eventually I settled upon a crypto dashboard for myself. You see, at the end of 2020 there was a big boom for crypto, and I thought, okay, I have some crypto investments, but I wanted to keep track of it on a day-to-day basis. I also had an old monitor laying around as well as a Raspberry Pi. So I thought to myself, hey, let's make a server, let's connect that monitor to that Raspberry Pi, let's make a simple front end that fetches my current portfolio and displays the current price. This monitor will consistently and constantly be on, so I could always see what's going on. I thought to myself, hey, this is an excellent thing. And on top of that, I decided to include a module that displayed important dates in the future, like exam dates, travel dates, etc. So then this monitor would then consistently shuffle between these things. Crypto dashboard, calendars, basic reminders. I was like, perfect. This is going to teach me what I need to learn in order to set this shit up. And eventually, before you knew it, I did. It took me a few days. This was the first time I was introduced to complex CSS stuff like Flexbox, like React Material UI. It's the first time I actually learned this shit for myself. So after having done that, I got my first taste of project-based learning. Like, I was able to teach myself so many concepts. React, API fetching, UI building, you name it. As well as containerization. I had to make it work on my local Windows machine as well as on a Raspberry Pi. And this helped me because a month after that, I applied to another job. And because I had that experience, that reference experience of building systems, and on top of that, I understood that a business owner wanted a systems builder rather than a simple developer. And oftentimes they don't even know that. It is after you talk to them that you realize that, yeah, exactly, they want someone to maintain their complex technical infrastructure. The ad might say junior developer. Do you want to be that developer that just fucking builds functions that is kind of useless? Because AI is going to come and replace that job first. The boring junior developer job. As opposed to developers like us who focus on systems thinking, senior developer type shit. Right? We need to be charismatic and visionary. And that's the key to not being replaced by AI. But I digress. So I got that job, that new job. I almost doubled my salary. And ever since then, money has not been an issue. For the people who have been following me for a while, they know that I got that first developer job because I was in debt. So I paid off my debt. I was able to buy myself a nice guitar. I was able to chill, eat food. You know the difference. But ever since that day, I transformed myself. Gone were the days where I looked at programming as just simply writing scripts, writing functions, writing classes. And today I look at it from the perspective of building large systems. And it ties in perfectly with the boom in AI. Because today AI can do the dull, mundane stuff. AI can write complex, vast amount of code. But it's up to you, the senior fucking visionary developer, to be the puppet master of this AI. And in the future, the only jobs that are going to be left are these jobs that require social engineering. You need to be able to collaborate with people, build teams, build structures, workflows. Because you and I both know that these developers that waste their time, like those TC or GTFO developers, they're absolute waste of oxygen. Like, we really need to show them that in the future, and when I say future, I mean like 1 or 2 years from now, probably 5, conservatively, most of the developer jobs are going to shit. And it's only the developers that invest their time now in thinking in systems. And if you want to get really ballsy, you have to think about it from a company level, like actually solving problems for people. Trust me, if you invest your time in this, your money will be safe. You won't lose your job. So from that first project, right, that crypto dashboard, I went into other projects. And over time, the more jobs I did for people, the more information I got, the more skills I got. So I was in a constant flux of learning new things, adapting old belief systems. So for example, at the first job I had, first I learned basic system building. Then I went balls deep in front-end engineering. I was really comfortable in React. And then after that, I got really comfortable in Nest.js. So eventually, my whole skill set revolved around building full stack applications. And today I have repos ready to go that I've built over time with all the modules necessary. From communication modules that sends emails to people, to security modules, to rate limiting modules, to AWS GPT modules, like these services that do shit for me. And with a few clicks of a button, I can have an empty, bare bones, full stack architecture ready to be deployed. And this shit is powerful. You see, and another way project-based learning will help you become a fucking G developer is if you learn project management as well. And I'm talking about these meta tasks like setting up automation suites, like test suites, automated deploy, CI/CD. If you learn proper versioning, like if these terms don't mean shit to you, please, I urge you, look it up. Master Git, there are like 5 commands you need to know. And once you have these 5 commands burnt in your mind, you will be a G in version control. All these SaaSes, all these these startups, they basically focus on one thing. They find a problem to solve in the market. They define their software service that addresses this pain point. Next, they do this thing called requirement engineering. Now, this is nothing more than asking yourself 4 questions. Given a product that you want to build, what must be in the product, what should be in the product, what could be in the product, and what won't be in the product. All right? Answering these 4 questions will give you a timeline into the future to see what exactly you need to build. Now, I'm going to give you a very important definition here if you're interested in this whole SaaS world, in the whole startup world, and that is MVP. That stands for minimum viable product. Now, for the fellow nerds out there, like me, I'm going to give you a definition that you should never forget. An MVP, or a minimum viable product, is defined as a set of features such that if you remove one feature, your product breaks. Now, that product is your goal to build in any project you pursue in order to fill your resume or to impress people, whatever the fuck you want to do with those projects. Define your MVP on a Google Doc or a Notion template, and define yourself tickets. Tickets are like bite-sized pieces of tasks you can do in order to complete your goal. So to give you a basic rundown of how I do projects, it's this. First, I define the product, or the tool I'm building. I define it with the Moscow method. Then I define tickets for myself. Sometimes I put a deadline if I'm really busy. If not, then I'd go with the flow. I set up the repo. I set up the Git infrastructure. I set up testing stuff beforehand, and then I start building. Simple. I just tick off the Notion or like the tickets or whatever. And before you know it, I have fucking products on the internet, tools on the internet that people can use. Now, it's gonna take a while before you get really used to this shit. But once you do this is powerful shit, you'll become a full stack developer. Now, I know founders who literally say to me, yo, Neil, I'm scared of full stack developers because if they learn basic entrepreneurial skills, they will be the most powerful people, creators on the internet, in the world. So listen, if you're watching this video, most probably you are a programmer. And I urge you to invest your time in learning these full stack skills. You don't want to be like those toxic TC or GTFO developers on teamblind.com. These people learn a bunch of lead code, get big tech jobs, get super lazy, super complacent. They get a shit ton of money in return. But what do? When's the last time Google came out with a revolutionary product? Or Apple for that matter? Or Meta? Now I know behind the scenes they're working on AI. I understand that, I do. But if you think about the scope of projects that they have, the vast amount of people that are behind their development efforts, you realize that a lot of developers simply just work 1 or 2 hours a day of like focused work. And that's it. We don't want to be like those developers. You and I, we are system creators. We want to be visionary motherfuckers. Now this might be cringy, but let me tell you exactly what visionary is defined as. A visionary is someone who thinks or plans for the future using wisdom or imagination. Now if you want to create products for yourself or for the world, like useful tools, you by definition have to become a visionary. No longer are you working on other people's vision. Make sense? So unless you're working for a company, I would urge you, think about a tool you've always wanted to build, because I know you have a few tools in your mind. It doesn't necessarily have to be wanted or needed by many people. Make a tool for yourself. If you adopt the mindset of a product creator, a systems builder, an ambitious visionary, as cringy as it sounds, it's true. AI won't take your place. Okay, listen. Click the link below. I want you to join our Discord, our clan of other software developers who are looking to become ambitious, visionary, charming developers that are able to construct teams no matter how introverted they are. Okay? Click the link below, join us, and remember, life is a gift given by the gods to make a proper use of it. Alright? Love you. Take care. Bye.